Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. That's the answer. This is the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today we're getting back to Ted Lasso. This is season 1, episode 9. Big things are afoot, to put it modestly. What's Rebecca gonna do? Only 2 episodes left this season. I can't wait to see where we go from here.
Barbecue sauce. Hey, look, I've been enjoying the rewatch of the season 1 for me. This has been amazing. I cannot wait to get to the next one. I'm definitely ready, willing, and able.
That be curious and not judgmental speech during the game of darts was, in my opinion, one of the best speeches I think I've ever seen in a TV show or movie. I think it was that good. It is right up there with any just emotional, hard-hitting inspiration monologue you're going to find anywhere on TV and film. I can't wait to see what episode 9 brings.
All right, without further ado then, let's go!
This is a mess.
Hey, Bob, we are way behind on schedule, so I'm gonna need you to get everything hooked up like yesterday. All this stuff needs to be done by tomorrow. Gotta have it done.
Boss, I'm not an electrician. I mean, shouldn't we wait for the pros?
This can't be that hard. Couple plugins, couple wires. It's not that big of a deal. We do not have time to wait for the electrician, so just get it done. I'm counting on you, all right?
I'm counting on you. Oh!
Jumping jackrabbits, Bob, what the hell happened?
Oh, I knew this was a bad idea.
Bob's instincts were right, but his supervisor didn't listen. Now Bob's injury could be worth millions.
Wait, did you say millions? Who are these professionals that can help me?
Morgan & Morgan.
Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury firm with more than 1,000 lawyers and 4,000 case staff ready to fight for you if you become their client.
But Bob is worried because he doesn't have the cash to pay for expensive legal fees. Worry no more. When your boss puts you in a dangerous situation and you get hurt, don't settle for less than you deserve. Morgan & Morgan will fight to get you every penny. And the best part? It's completely free unless you win. But Bob feels conflicted. He doesn't want to sue his boss, even if the company hasn't paid him for the last 6 months. When you sue for an injury, you're not suing your boss. You're suing their insurance company. There's no reason to feel bad about getting the compensation you deserve. So if you've been a victim in a car accident, medical malpractice, workplace injury, or any other personal injury, you can hit the link in the description to get Morgan & Morgan to fight for you. Bob did, and he sure is thankful Morgan & Morgan had his back.
Down this afternoon's Richmond-Arsenal match. Welcome, Graham. But today was another tough day for Roy Kent in a stretch of bad days. In his last 9 games, Kent had gives while turnovers coming double.
Garbage can.
There you are.
Everyone gone?
Yes, sir. Well, except Rojas. Darn kids out on the practice pitch still doing drills.
Yeah, what's up? You just tell me up and then go.
Not gonna do that, bud.
I lost us the game. I'm a piece of shit.
Easy now. You had a bad day. Big whoop.
Big whoop.
Yeah, big whoop. You beating yourself up is like Woody Allen playing the clarinet. I don't want to hear it. You know? Hey, I got your back. Ain't nothing gonna change that. Look at you in there, looking like a brunette Oscar the Grouch.
Let it go. There you go.
Hola, Roy.
Taking a break when we return.
In the treadmill. So the drills weren't enough. Danny had to get in his running too.
No.
Oh, snap.
Oh,
Watch your back,
she's
Kate
got to
Moss.
tell
There's a
him.
new bad girl on the British modeling scene. Oh, yeah.
You know, cameras are a funny thing, Ted.
Don't you realize that there's probably a little girl out there somewhere rocking a tiny eggplant-colored power suit
And in this scenario of yours, little girls read the Football Financial Quarterly.
Well, who knows? Little girls are mysterious and silly and powerful. I gave up trying to figure them out years ago.
How's the team morale going to the final weekend? I mean, I'm still heartbroken about the last loss.
Are you?
Oh, snap.
Hey, Keely.
Hi, Ted.
Hey, did those marketing folks from Tom Ford ever get back to you?
Yeah, they did. They said they're going to stick with the models they already have.
Ah, nuts.
I know. But they did say that if they ever do an everyman campaign or something satirical...
Every man.
Can I borrow you for a second, Rebecca? Mum.
Oh, that's gotta stink.
Ugh.
All the cleats.
It's hot, like feet fug right up your nose.
You're being a right floppy Rebecca. Why haven't you told Ted yet?
Oh, I'm going to.
When?
Imagine doing something unforgivable to someone who doesn't deserve it and then having to look them in the eye and tell them what you've done.
I don't have to imagine, I've done it. Year 8, I took a shit in Joanna Wellington's locker. I apologised. I was uninvited to her birthday party and then we patched it up a week later. Just tell him.
Sorry, why did you do a shit in her locker?
I don't know. I was 13. What? Teenage girls are like mysterious and dark and dangerous.
I know women like shoes, but girls, come on, this is silly. Sorry, that was really sexist. But you are in here, that's great. Take as long as you need. Yeah, I'll go. Sorry.
I mean, what would be the point of telling Ted now? It doesn't change anything.
It will change how I feel about you.
You know, David, we got one final game this season against Man City, and our goal is to go out like Willie Nelson, on a high. Yeah? Oh, how about Trent Krim? And if memory serves, you're from the Daily Planet, yeah?
Many of your young players have improved during your tenure. Then there's Roy Kent. He played dismally last match. Thoughts?
All right, let's mix it up in here a little. If you're an introvert, I want y'all to raise your hand. You guys get the next few questions. That was a trick. If y'all were really introverts, you would have been quiet as a church mouse. You know, unless that church was Westboro Baptist. Those turkeys won't shut up.
Oh, that was a fun jab. Everybody hates those guys. You familiar? Yeah.
Most people are.
Feel like y'all are about to do some improv comedy or tell me that you're dating each other. Either one's cool with me, because your suggestion is ally.
Wasn't just one bad game, Coach. He's showing his age. He's made significant mistakes in each of the last 5 matches. We just haven't been bitten in the ass by them yet.
Yesterday, our butts had teeth marks. Deep ones. The kind you usually have to pay for.
Made off a little.
Guys, I'm not benching Roy. He's our captain. But I want you to know that I value each of your opinions, even when they're wrong. I was really hoping it was going to be improv. I'm out at 5,000.
Oh boy, here we go.
Audie.
I value each of your opinions, even if they're wrong.
Someone to bite you? No, of course not. Oh, sorry.
Ben paid.
Ted, do you think you could do this later?
Yeah, sure, no problem. I'll just hit the rewind button. Chute. Yep, 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 yep. With that, I have.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, Rebecca. Just do it. Just do it. I'm a big girl. Just tidy up your mess. Tidy up your mess. Right. God.
Surprise!
Oh.
Look, Rupert, are you here to try and buy back the club?
No, I wanted to tell you something before you heard it somewhere else. Bex and I are having a baby. Surprise again.
But you always said...
I thought we could be mature about this.
Oh, you're mature enough, all right. You're nearly 70 and you're having a baby. I mean, what are you, a character from the Bible?
Will change. I do want a child. I suppose I didn't want one before.
What a prick.
In the end, it's just about being with the right person, isn't it?
Oh, what a slime ball.
Oh.
Looking out for something right time means to.
She gonna apologize in the locker room in front of everybody?
I have something I need to tell you.
Oh, deja vu.
I'm a...
Nope, that's new.
This club is all that Rupert has ever cared about, and I wanted to destroy it, to cause him as much pain and suffering as he has caused me, and I didn't care who I used or who I hurt. All you good people just trying to make a difference. Ted, I'm so sorry.
Wow.
Laying it all out.
She just everything right out there. No mincing words.
If you want to quit or call the press, I'll completely understand.
I forgive you.
You would? Why?
Divorce is hard. It doesn't matter if you're the one leaving or if you're the one who got left. Oh, it makes folks do crazy things. Hell, I'm coaching soccer, for heaven's sake, in London. This job you gave me has changed my life. It gave me the distance I needed to see what was really going on. Yeah, but you and me, we're okay. Come on, just shake this hand. My arms start to get...
There you go.
You know, I think that if you care about someone and you got a little love in your heart, there ain't nothing you can't get through together. You know what I'm saying?
You're not just talking about us now, are you?
Maybe. Maybe not. I'm gonna go change for practice, training, practice, whatever. Who cares? You liven up the place.
All right, way to go, Rebecca.
What an absolute win.
Let's go, gather up. Come on now.
Holy shit.
They ain't warmed up properly, something real bad could happen. Yeah. One time, I was being sick, and at the same time, I was having diarrhea.
Yep, that'll happen. Anybody else want to share?
To be able to do both those things at the same time, the body is a miracle.
It's about Roy, ain't it? So you gonna give me the cold shoulder and the silent treatment. That's a combo. Does it come with a medium drink?
Shoot.
One more. Need
Call
to
up
take care
Higgins.
of.
Oh, she's pulling up to the house.
Interesting music number they're using here.
Just remember,
I think that's coming from inside.
Yeah.
That's not a music number. That's like Higgins.
Look, he's got a goatee.
He's got his hair down.
Yeah. Whoa.
Hey.
Right next.
Love other seats.
Look, Roy, we've been talking about the starting lineup against Man City.
You dare, you're not benching me.
Well, no, hey, I'm just talking here, Roy.
Yeah, talking. That's all you do is talk. Talking all that bullshit about how you got my back.
No, hey, I do have your back.
Bullshit. You pretended to be a man of your word. You're full of shit. You can go yourself. Q.
Didn't go well.
There are a lot of surprises happening here. Like that tiny little beard.
It's called a Van Dyke after the 17th century Flemish painter, and I think it makes me look how I feel. Chill.
How does Mrs. Higgins feel about it?
She hates it with a white-hot intensity.
Right. Look, I came clean to Ted. I told him everything.
Oh. How did that go?
You know what the little shit did? He forgave me.
Also.
I don't think I've ever had a child in my house before.
What about Jamie?
Oh, I can't let her go snooping around though. I don't want to find my vibrator.
Yeah, that's going to be a problem. And Mum said no electronics.
So, how are you doing?
Fine.
We all know what that
I
means.
do kind of think kids are pretty incredible. I mean, she's got new teeth that push out her old teeth. Body is a miracle.
The last time I was on the bench.
Oh, you are ready to talk about real stuff. That's great. Wait 1 second. Come sit here.
Dear coach.
Roy Kent's been the best player on every team he's been on since he was a kid. I like being Roy Kent. I don't know if I can handle just being some loser has-been called Roy. All right, Roy? Yeah. What have you been up to? Cool.
God, I think men who feel sorry for themselves are so sexy.
Stop it.
No, seriously, I do. If you start telling me how hard it is playing a game for a living, I think I might come. You come here for a second.
You were right. Setting is amazing.
But first, I need you to close your eyes for me, yeah? Okay. Can you describe your Uncle Roy? Everything that you can think of.
Go. Well, he's my uncle. His beard is scratchy. He buys me ice cream. He swears a lot. He's really funny. And I love him.
Well done, Phoebe. See? I didn't hear anything about being a footballer.
Who gives a shit what she has to say? She's 6.
Oh, we were making some headway in this episode.
Look at what.
Oh, the chess
You want a
club.
girl playing chess with some other bloke?
Yup.
That's brutal.
Just playing her game.
You stay stronger, yeah? You're a beautiful man.
The guys are all there fucking for support.
Oh, look at that.
Get the lineup.
Well, it's a lot of pints just for us.
Thought you might have had a tough time with Roy.
Coach, you are a natural-born caregiver, like Chief from Cuckoo's Nest.
It's always more of a Tabor guy.
Just sitting out there getting warm.
Now, don't give me those eyes. He figured it out all on his own. I can see you're happy now, but don't be. Look, putting him on the bench wouldn't just be humiliating to him. It could actually affect his livelihood. And you know better than anyone that all this ain't about winning to me, because that ain't how we measure success, right?
Damn it, it is!
Oh, letting her snap.
I understood this mission when we were in Kansas, but those were kids and these are professionals. Winning does matter to them. And it matters to me. And that's okay. Ain't that right, May?
Hey, minute is.
And if you want to pick a player's feelings over a coach's duty to make a point, I don't want to drink with someone that selfish.
Oh, that's one way to look at it.
That was the sexiest thing I've ever seen in my life.
What you think? She's been toying with you. Checkmate. Mate.
Just happened? What just happened?
Well, Ted's got a big decision to make.
Look, I'm sorry I told you to go yourself.
Man, la-di-da.
I'm usually better at hiding my anger. If, God forbid, I end up having to play in America, they'd be like, oh, is this football then?
Honest with me. It's a prank, right? The tea, like when those tourist folks aren't around. Y'all know this tastes like garbage.
No. I love it.
You don't love it. It's pigeon sweat. Actually, those are for Trent Crim's daughter. She turns 3 today. But it means more to me if you add them. What? No. Come on. Oh, it's okay. She won't remember.
Oh, Ted, what you told her?
No, I'm serious. I'm screwing with you. I'm just messing around. I predicted this whole thing, and I made those myself for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, these are definitely for a little girl.
Oh, everything's all silly and playful and mysterious.
Third time.
Oh, shit.
My 6-year-old niece found my girlfriend's vibrator. So I had to take her to get her ears pierced in an attempt to erase the memory.
That's it.
Can I say something?
Floor is yours, Captain.
Second team's going to kick first team's asses today.
All right, fellas, finish getting ready, and then we'll do what the man says. We'll settle this out on the pitch. Let's go.
All right.
Please believe me.
We're going to have a little more footage here. Oh, look at that. What was that all about?
I don't know what that was, but that's what that was. That was nice.
Oh, what an episode.
Once again.
So, I don't know about you,
Are
Oak.
you not disappointed by this show? This show is amazing.
I don't know about you, Oak, but to me, this was the episode we have been waiting for everything to finally be laid out there, everybody to kind of come clean about everything. And as we've said so many times before, when we're watching a series and we get towards the end of a season, we always kind of wonder, okay, is the penultimate episode going to be the big one? And the last episode just sort of bats cleanup, if you will, kind of puts a nice bow on everything, or maybe does get us set up for next season. And I got to say, this one kind of felt like the episode we have been waiting for since we started, where Rebecca comes clean to Ted. He accepts her apology. He understands what she was going through because he's kind of going through it himself with the divorce and everything. So that kind of happened the way that I expected it to, given everything we know about Ted's character. I think Roy had to come to a point in his career that a lot of athletes come to, which is, when is it time to hang it up? And when you do hang it up and you're not the football player or the basketball player or whatever, then who are you? And look, that's a real thing that a lot of athletes struggle with, because they go from such an incredibly strict regimen of every day is planned out down to the minute. And then all of a sudden it's gone and you don't know what to do. You're just kind of adrift. You have no direction. Sometimes your sense of worth takes a hit. And I think with Roy, we got to see a little bit of a preview of like that, where he knows his best days are behind him. He knows kind of his time is coming to an end on the football pitch. And, it's only a matter of time before he's done playing, and he needs to realize he's more than just a football player. And I thought they did that brilliantly with his niece. She didn't even mention it. It's like, it's Uncle Roy. He's got a scratchy beard, swears and buys me ice cream. It's great. And she didn't even care about him being an athlete. So it was great for Roy to see that there's more to him than just being an athlete. And I thought that was important. Keeley really came in clutch in this episode, not only helping out Roy, but also Rebecca. So there was some fun there in the shoe closet, I guess that was, which, man, that even looked like it smelled in there. Like,
my God.
I could feel it coming through the TV.
Smell-o-vision.
Yeah,
Oof.
exactly. But, an incredibly fun episode that I think you could really dive into a lot of the different things that happened. We saw, Coach have his little blow up there with Ted, and that was interesting because we hadn't seen that. And he brings up a good point, Oak, that I think you might have brought up earlier in the season, where it's different when you're coaching kids or even young men at a college, and then you're coaching professional athletes. And you've seen it with coaches who try to make that transition from, the colleges and high school to the higher level of professional. And it doesn't always work, because you got to remember, you're dealing with grown men with egos, and everybody wants to win, and there's just a different sense. Plus, you're being paid for it. Some colleges notwithstanding, you're being paid to be a professional athlete. So things are very different. And I think we got just a small glimpse of that with the friction between the two coaches.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, your jobs, even in college sports as a coach, like, look, it's different. Look, when you're a college athlete, whether you're going to go on to the next level or not, obviously is dependent on your performance, but whether you're going to have a job next season, that's what's on the line for coaches, and there's a lot riding on that. And for coaches who perform poorly, look, a lot of times that can be career ending. Look, at certain levels, if you have a poor performance, you can go to another team or something like that. But like, it can definitely be tough. So there was. There's a lot on the line, and that attitude, like, look, if you're going to come in and try to change the tone of the locker room on a professional sports team, that I understand. Like, we need to change the tone of the locker room. We need to change the culture, but at some point you have to focus on winning. And look, if it's sometimes, and I can't speak for soccer, football, but in here in America with the NFL, Major League Baseball, NBA, a lot of times 1 or 2 mediocre seasons are okay-ish if you have a newer coach with a younger team and they use it. Well, we're building. But when you have an established team and a new coach comes in and things don't go well, you get about one season before it's like. Get about one season, like, okay, it's your first season. Let's get things going in the right direction next season. So it's definitely complex. Your first season, obviously, with Ted coaching a sport that's completely outside his wheelhouse, it's entirely different there. So you understand. Look, Beard's and Nate and everybody else's concerns, and obviously you want to finish off the year on a high note. That's a big thing as well. And they made it clear that it wasn't just Roy having a mistake here or there or one bad game. I mean, there was a pattern that had been showing. And you bring it up, but look, at some point when it comes to sports, look, we just get older, and you're going to be less competitive. And at some point there's, for people who are elite,
that's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
For the people who are elite, it's very different. Like, look, if you're an okay player, and you go, if you're a backup your whole career and you stay a backup and then you retire, it's one thing. Or if you're somebody who's gone back and forth, but again, looking at, I look at, the NFL, was Tom Brady ever going to be a backup? He could probably keep playing. Right now we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, a former Green Bay Packers quarterback, trying to, figure out where he fits in someplace. He could probably keep playing as a backup, and they would probably want to have him as a backup. But does he want to play as a backup after being elite your whole career? So not only is Roy an aging athlete, but he's somebody who, was at the top of his game. So it creates a different dynamic with what happens once you're on the bench. When you've been number one your whole career, and look, guys who get to the NFL, anybody who gets to the NFL has been number one their whole career. High school, college, they were the top. Now, getting to the NFL, it's a whole different ballgame. We know that quite literally and figuratively. But when you've been at the top, even in the pros, going on the bench, that's probably almost worse than retiring. I think for some guys, and I can't, I can speak for bodybuilders, because bodybuilders usually, very rarely do they retire on top. Very rarely, it's you have a show or two where you've taken a step back, and you hope to see the guys retire, because it's obviously different from a performance standpoint, but your body just doesn't look the same as you get older. So it is similar in a lot of regards. But look, a great episode. I was so happy to see Rebecca come through and just be honest with Ted. She obviously initially we saw her dance around it quite a bit, but then when she came out and said it, it was just boom, straightforward. It gave everything. So she didn't try making excuses for herself. She didn't try softening up the blow. So I'm glad they gave us that, because when they showed that first scene of him coming in, I'm like, is she going to be like, well, so here's this.
Rip that Band-Aid off.
And she came straight up with the reason why too. And I think that level of honesty is what facilitated that reaction from Ted. Look, Ted's going to be a positive person, but the fact that she came right out and said, this is why, and look, I just wanted to, destroy the team that my husband loved, because that's all he ever cared about. Like, there was a level of realness and honesty there that just put Ted in a situation to say, like, okay, this is what it is. So I thought this was a great episode. Keely, I mean, she's becoming like the real rock star of like this whole show. I mean, she really is such a dynamic character that initially was just Jamie's girlfriend, then the PR, then it's like, oh, wow, she's funny. She's a great addition to the show. And as the season's gone on, she's become like this cornerstone of everybody just like doing the right thing, like it's her character is so well written. And speaking of writing, I didn't know that Roy was one of the writers of the show. I just, of course, so after last episode, I have I've stayed away from spoilers, but I have watched the dart scene. I don't know, probably I would say at least 20, 25 times, just because I think it's so incredible. And so now, because I've watched the dart scene over and over, all the Ted Lasso stuff is showing up in my feed. But I saw just a short with Roy talking about how he was basically, so what it was is he was a writer for the show, and he sent in a video of himself performing it. He's like, I think I'm Roy, and he sent in a video of himself.
Nice.
And to the rest of the team, and they were like, yep, we're done looking for Roy. That's you. So he's actually one of the writers, which I think is great. But another fantastic episode.
They found the perfect Rupert. That's all I know answer.
They did. And it was great that he was a reason, because he's the cause. What's causing all this? Well, it was Rupert. And so we saw that he was a cause. Well, then when he came in and laid out the fact that Bex was pregnant, and then he's like, oh, you just had to find the right person to have him with.
What an asshole.
Exactly. And so that put her in a spot where, like, I got to tell Ted. I got to tell Ted now. She's created this great relationship with him despite this and despite her apprehension. And then the same with Keely. She had a great, is having a great, with her. And so she wanted to mend all those fences, and it was because of the same asshole that made her start causing all these problems that made her clean up her old mess. And it was great by Ted to obviously, forgive her and be like, hey, when you're divorced, you make some weird and wacky decisions. Hey, he's like, hey, look, I'm here in London. I'm coaching soccer halfway around the world. So he understands it. So he was a perfect person for her to hire, perfect person, to apologize and to see through it that it wasn't that's not her. That's not really her. That was just her being blinded by her rage towards her ex. And then it was great to know that Higgins then was going to be brought back because, you know, she saw the error of ways. Like, yeah, she said what she had to Higgins the last episode about the, you know, you could have told me the whole time that you were having lunch with me, da-da-da-da. And he said he wished he was braver. And I think this was a way for them to mend their fences as well. Although through jokes and him playing the cello and him having the beard, the Van Dyke is what he put it out. It was great. And once again, as usual, the music is always great in all these episodes. I know Bill Lawrence says a big thing he loves to do is with any show, he loves to get the perfect music he can involved in his shows. And he always did it for Scrubs. And he has done it so far for Ted Lasso. So another great episode.
And look, I can't say that. Like going back, I don't know how many years. Look, I'm sure. Look, they've always tried to put powerful, music in movies. I think that's always been a big thing. But I just, and for me, and Answer hasn't seen it yet, but I almost feel like Sons of Anarchy was one of the first shows that, like, man, they hit you with the music, like every episode.
Yeah,
they found.
That's why I'm saying you should.
I think.
Yeah, but Sopranos didn't. It didn't.
That's why I'm thinking you should have watched Scrubs because they had
Sopranos felt like they had cool. It felt like it was cool music that fit like the characters, but music that it's obviously it's a different show. Sopranos isn't a show that's like a gut punch show, but I feel like really good shows, they find a way to work in music that they know is going to really invoke those emotions that you're looking for. And it seems like we're getting that more and more out of television. Again, I'm not going to pretend that we look back at movies. There's so many iconic soundtracks.
Well, yeah.
So I feel like movies have always nailed that, but I feel like television over the course of the last 15 years or so has really just gone in on that. Although if I look back, maybe I'm just not thinking clear. If I look back on Wonder Years was a show from the late 80s and 90s.
They had some bangers,
the
but they had
cornerstone of Wonder Years was the use of music and stuff like that.
Well,
but to your point, it was phenomenal in this, and this whole series they've done a great job with.
On the Scrubs rewatch, Zach has talked about that too, where Bill was also very open-minded that if, say I was Bill Lawrence and like you heard this band, you're like, hey, I heard a couple good songs, maybe we can throw them in an episode. He would listen to them. If you liked them, yeah, we'll see if we can put them in here or there. Mm-hmm. And so they had a lot of like no-namers, and like even there was one person they knew from American Idol, never did a song before. They did one song and they ended up putting it on Scrubs. That's awesome. So they've always been like, that's always been a big thing for him as far as these shows. But
the last one.
We got one more to this season.
Well, and I think too, part of, and just to jump back to Rebecca real quick, I think part of her, again, laying everything out there for Ted is she saw what Rupert was doing. Rupert was trying to hurt her, and all she was trying to do was trying to hurt him back, realizing like, hey, does that make you happy? Is that really what you want to do? Pretending to be somebody you're not just so you can hurt your ex, and having to, at that same time, lie to all these people that are being so good to you. And I think Rebecca saw herself kind of going down the Rupert road a little bit, if you will, and saw she didn't want to be that kind of person.
Look, there's a saying, hurt people. Mm-hmm. Right? And it's like, and look, for some people, that's their way of dealing with it. It's like, if I'm feeling this pain, I'm going to cause somebody else to. And we're so happy to finally see Rebecca just be like, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. And part of it is just, look, this is how you win against assholes like Rupert, right? And look, in the beginning, they're like, okay, Rupert, like, is, in the first handful of episodes, it's like, does she hate Rupert just because he was the rich old guy who went for a younger woman? Mm-hmm. Is that why? Because that's enough reason why. Look, he left me, went with a younger woman. That's enough reason why. Mm-hmm. And earlier on in the episodes, that's kind of what we thought about Rupert. Oh, whatever, he got the divorce. But now we find that Rupert is just being just disgustingly vindictive and hurtful. And so you're hating Rupert more, which is why the last episode was so powerful. But also why this episode is as powerful as it is too. Like, look, she's not going to do that anymore.
Yep.
For the next one.
All right, we got one episode left for the first season. That's right. Cannot wait to watch it. I'm sure you guys all enjoyed it. Hopefully we will too. So for Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm, of course, the Answer. We'll catch you on the next one, pals.
Somebody came in and did all this work.
Has he been fired?
I don't know anything about this, Ted. Oh, there you are.
There you are. Is this because I called Isaac a pussy?
Good morning, everyone.
You shrew. You did this, didn't you? You know my name?
Well, I had to spell it correctly for your contract.
Promoted.
Hey, dog, you haven't been fired. It's worse. You've been promoted.
Nice.
Oh, what a way to start off episode 10.
Nathan Shelley, I present to you this whistle, but it is sad. Do you know why?
No.
Because it has never been blown.
Is that the same reason why Colin's sad?
By the power vested in me by the Associated Football Club of Richmond, I now pronounce you Coach Nate.
All right.
All right. sorry. Oh, what a start.
No, the captain has to be on the pitch. That's the rule.
I say that the current captain has to pick the new captain. That's my new rule.
Don't want to.
Well, you have to.
Beard. Can't make me.
Roy Kent, until you choose your successor, your duties as captain of this squad remain unfulfilled.
This is why it's hard to love you.
You heard it, right?
He loves you.
My nana never spoke to me after that. She just left me a box of her shit in her will.
So what happens to all the shit teams at the end of the season?
You know, they play out the rest of the schedule, going through the motions and meaningless games contested in lifeless, half-empty stadiums, and everyone's pretty much fine with that. That sound about right, Coach?
Yeah, it's dumb.
Does relegation mean they're like out of the playoffs, basically?
They moved down. They moved down to a different league because you want to be in the Premier League. That's the top league.
Yeah.
There's other leagues. Yeah. What? Yeah.
Now, hold on a second. So if you come in last place in the Premier League, you get to play in the championship?
They also invented irony.
I mean, come on, y'all. It's 2020. Let's just call them cigarettes. Am I right?
God, yes.
You know what I mean? Hey, how you doing, fellas?
We just wanted to say thanks.
Yeah, we know you did your best.
Even though your best is still shit.
Oh, come on. You acting like we lost the game already, yeah? Why don't you have a little hope? How many times I gotta tell you that? They ain't natural, all right? If God wanted games to end in a tie, she wouldn't have invented numbers, all right? Come on, guys, let's fire up. Let's go. Hey, for the love of Meghan Markle, do not blow that whistle. That ring a bell, Nate? That ring a very large bell in your head?
You had that hanging in your home.
We got tons hanging. This one's from the bathroom mirror. It's the first thing I see every morning, and it's the last thing I see at night when I rationalize being too tired to floss.
Belief can't score goals, Coach.
Well, hello, Nelson. Let me introduce you to another Nelson right here.
Since you're carrying around something today besides biscuits.
Good eye, small fry. I hate to say it, Rebecca, but I think your football club might have been better off with a soccer coach. Even if that means, this guy's got to go, just put anything, just, whatever you got. Whatever you want to do. I mean, don't really murder me, but, just cause confusion. Or create chaos. Yeah? Yes, it is. Thanks, Paul. Woohoo!
Oh, God, I wonder if that was real and they just kept it.
Oh, certainly looked like it.
All right, gentlemen, school is in session. And today's lesson is trick plays. At least that's what we call them back home. What do they call them here again?
Elaborate set pieces?
Ooh, yeah, we're going to stick with trick plays. That's a lot more fun. Now, the idea behind every trick play is to have chaos rain down upon your opponents and stun them, much like the lava did to those poor folks in Pompeii.
Oh, Jesus. What?
When I played for Tigres, we had a great set piece.
Did it have a name?
The Sandman.
Yeah. Now we're cooking the Sandman. We're going to learn that play today. Who else got one?
Pepper shakers.
Pepper shakers.
Nice.
Globetrotters music.
We're going to go out there and we're going to learn a bunch of these plays. You hear it? Come Sunday, we're going to hit Man City with the Chaos Hammer.
I can't believe you got done by Richmond. Super embarrassing for you.
Well, I got by Lasso, so.
He likes you now, though. He talks about you on telly, doesn't he?
What are you on about, you posh twat?
Independent. Any bad blood between you and Jamie Tarr? Jamie? No. That's
He's got his arm around him.
I'm always rooting for him.
What?
Classic mind games, isn't it?
Right, you can f off.
Oh, broke his phone.
You up?
Really?
Joking.
Look at the socks. He got eggs on them.
Oh, yeah, Roy, Jamie's coming over.
Oh, is he? Shall I make scones?
I don't like scones.
I'm not making scones, you idiot.
Good, because I don't even like them.
What's that?
Where's your coffee?
Well, then what's this?
Brought you coffee.
He does like you.
You're as full of shit as he is.
Oi, mind your manners.
All right, Robocop.
RoboCop.
It doesn't look like you're doing anything.
How much you get that before you checked out?
I drew a robot.
That's cool, bud.
Win and they stay up, lose and they go down. They come here full of hope, but as they know all too well.
Oh, it's all the hooligans.
I have a confession to make. Ooh. I've never really cared about football. I know it sounds insane, but I know how to act at a match. Referee! Isn't my heart? It's never really been in it, you know? But today I care very much.
Oh, boy.
Arlo White
Is Roy going to have to come in and make the save?
Chris Powell, live
Of
from
an
the
injury?
golf track.
What's
Nelson
with
Road
these
Stadium.
microphones?
That's what they use.
Richmond.
Richmond.
Okay, here we are. Family Higgins is Terry, Chris, Dana, Stevie.
Good evening.
Forgive me, Father.
When your parents have you out of wedlock, it allows you space to explore life's little grey areas.
Never stop breaking TVs.
Whoa.
Cucaracha.
All right, now, fellas. Hey, let's focus up, huh? So I've been hearing this phrase y'all got over here that I ain't too crazy about.
Listen to this.
It's the hope that kills you. Y'all know that?
Here we go. Big speech coming.
I believe in believe. Now, where I'm from, we got a saying too. Yeah? It's a question, actually. Do you believe in miracles?
Nice.
And I want y'all to circle up with me right now. Come on, let's get this. Get them in here. All right, Captain. Let them know.
Let's go, Skipper. Let's go.
All right, Captain. Let them know.
Richmond on 12. 1, 2, 3,
12.
5, 6, 7, 9.
7, 9.
Is that miracles thing from a movie or real life?
Both.
It's a good movie.
We know.
No, I really can't remember seeing Roy Kent on the bench for a big match.
Hey, Jerry. Good luck.
Mind games.
He has a man open to his left, but he takes it himself, and so Rowe's there.
That's a solid save from Zorro.
Yeah, Chris, it's pronounced Zorro.
That's right.
Zorro.
Agony for Dixon, but a corner for Richmond.
Corner kick. Go for the Sandman. Call Sandman. Fairman.
Sandman!
Yes,
Oh, we got the rain coming down.
Here we go. Rowe has to take the corner. It's a dummy. Oh, and another one. What is this? Dixon again!
Oh, they almost had it.
I don't want to hear about any other game going on any other place, okay? Look, we are not playing for a tie. Ain't nobody here gonna kiss their sister.
It's an American
is an American phrase that I'm now realizing does not exist here, and that's good because it's creepy, and I hate it myself, and I don't know why I said it. I think it's just the adrenaline and the nerves and all that. Roy, you are starting the second half. Go ahead and start warming up. Let's go. Gentlemen, follow me.
And here comes Roy Kent.
Here we go.
All right, let's go.
Little redemption for Roy.
Zorro in position. Hendrick to take. He scores! City take the lead, and the dog track falls silent.
We're only one goal down, there's still a chance. Come on, Richmond!
I
love you when you give a shit.
Not from what I've seen in soccer.
If he scores here, it could be curtains for Richmond. No one can catch him.
Nobody except.
Hold on, can you believe it? It's Kent!
Nice.
Once again, the tortoise has stopped the hare.
She's conflicted.
What's the matter?
He's not getting up.
They're sending out the physio.
Right.
Oh.
Right, are you okay?
Monday. You want to call for the stretcher, Roy?
No, just help me up. What are you doing? Listen.
Oh, it's just like
he did.
Yep.
To Sam.
Yep.
As Kent comes off, he claps the fans in gratitude. Kent has been a fan favourite because he always left everything he had out on the pitch, and he did so tonight. Chris, does this almost feel like a farewell to
That's
you?
kind of what I was thinking.
What the heck are you doing? That's just on the 26,000 people checking the mobiles.
Oh, the other team must have lost.
Oh my God, Palace won 6-0. But then that means all we need is a tie.
We just need a tie, boys! We need a tie! Come on, let's go!
3 minutes of added time is all that's left in Richmond's season. Monclaw runs left. Fouled hard by Sharpenberg.
There you go, Richard! You sell the crap out of that!
Take the flop. There we go. Nice.
The injury time equaliser from Danny Rojas, surely enough to keep Richmond in the Premier League.
Now you just got to hold them now.
Oh, he makes the extra pass.
Oh, come on.
Manchester City win, and AFC Richmond's time in the Premier League is over.
When you walk through,
well,
walk on through the.
Do you really think I want to come all the way down to London to watch my son pass the ball?
Oh, shit.
Wow.
He took Ted's advice, and that's what beat him.
Hey, y'all played a heck of a game out there. We may not have won, but y'all definitely succeeded. I mean, you gave the champs 90 minutes of hell. Zero. Where you at? That dude had more saves than a Baptist preacher. Give it up for Zero. Yeah? Right. What about Roy? Roy chased down his grandson.
No, Jamie.
Walk on
It's a love letter.
with hope and you
Huh.
Leslie. Is that your first name?
It was my mother's name. I'm what's known as a feminine junior.
Please take a seat.
Oh, take a seat. That's the worst.
The teams that get relegated, they can get unrelegated, yeah?
They can get promoted.
So the next year we get ourselves a
Gotta
promotion,
win.
which looks good on any resume. We do something that no one believes we could ever do. Win the whole thing.
Ah, it's like Major League.
They are.
I swore.
I'm sorry.
The bubbles.
Did I get you?
Did I get Did I get you? What a finish.
All right, so
Yeah.
there's nothing extra
No.
there about it, but
No post credits.
there you go, guys. There was the end of season number 1, Ted Lasso. Go into the episode and then what you thought of the season so far, and are you not hooked?
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun. I was wondering going in, we had, of course, the setup for us with, what the other teams were going to do, what Richmond had to do. And I really didn't know which way they were going to go with it because the show had been so positive all year. And I mentioned this a number of times on different wrap-ups where they always pretty much always left you with a win at the end of every episode in one way or another. They always kind of left things on a good note. And I was like, are they going to do it for the finale? Are they going to, are they going to have them win and keep them in there? But of course, hindsight being what it is. Now, I don't know how many seasons they knew they were going to do. I would like to think they probably thought, hey, if things don't go so well, they get booted down to the lesser league, then everybody loves the story of them fighting their way back up to get back into the Premier League. So I was had those things kind of going back and forth in my head as far as which way they were going to go. I liked the setup. They gave us the goal for the tie. Everybody was happy, but they showed Jamie there kind of running. And I'm like, guys, the game's not over. Get your head back in it. And in the end, Jamie used what Ted taught him to win. He passed the ball at the end. And, we had heard a little bit about Jamie's dad and how he treated him. And then we actually got to see it. And that was pretty intense there for a minute in a show that is typically very light and fun and kind of goofy and silly at times. That was pretty heavy with Jamie and his dad. And I think it was just what he needed was that note from Ted saying, hey, you did the right thing. And I think that goes a long way for Jamie and what he needed to hear. And even though he's not on the team anymore, Ted was still looking out for him. So I really liked that. Like I said, we kind of had all of our resolutions, so to speak, in the previous episode. So all that was left in this one was the game. Of course, Roy got the big send-off in the game, which does kind of make you think, is that the last game that Roy played? And they certainly set it up that way. And, a lot of times athletes don't get to choose when they get to end their playing time. Most times it's chosen for them, either by injury or they're just not as good as they once were and they get cut or fired, however you want to say it. So, that's not an uncommon story for Roy, if he is indeed done, for it to be done because of injury. I'm not sure if that's the case because he's such a great character. It'd really be a shame if we didn't have him in season 2. But nonetheless, I liked that story, a little bit of redemption. He was the one guy that was able to chase down Jamie, and a really kind of a nice ending for Roy for this season anyway. But yeah, this was an absolute banger. I really liked this episode. I liked how we didn't necessarily get the happy ending. And just as a season, as a whole, this is one of those shows where it's a really easy watch, yet still very impactful. And look, part of that's because of the runtime. It's not an hour. It's, sub 40 minutes, at least for this season. So something you can really take some time, get into, and then you can think about it, enjoy that story, and then move on and then get back to it whenever you want, or just binge the whole thing. And then it makes it really easy, which I'm sure many of you probably did. But nonetheless, a great season, a great show, and I'm really looking forward to season 2.
Yeah, I mean, look, this whole season has been so much fun. And the final episode capped off what has been an incredible ride for us for 10 episodes. The whole show, the writing, it has heart, it has comedy, it's got all the warm and fuzzies you could ever imagine. Look, coming into this last episode, we knew what was at stake, right? But it's like, okay, is it overly cliche to have them win and get in, especially against a team where Nate's like, okay, we have no hope? Yes, but it happens, right? And then, of course, we only needed a tie, and then we lost. So it's like, okay, they didn't give us the win. They didn't give us the feel good ending as far as that's concerned, where the underdog wins. But they still give you something to hope for. We have Ted coming back for another season, and both the TV series and the game. You have, of course, the next season. But look, it was a lot of fun, a lot of good lessons. It was great seeing, it was great seeing, Roy's kind of attitude when he came out in the second half. He seemed supportive on the sidelines. He was ready to go and gave it everything he had when he came out. Very raw when he was in the locker room with Keely and, kind of push her away. And, she was kind of there for him regardless. It was finally so nice to see Rebecca there and cheering when you knew it was authentic. That was one of the highlights of this episode for me. Rebecca, we finally got to see her just authentic self there, wanting the team to win. Interestingly enough, on the flip side of it, like, Rupert was mad that the team lost too, and that's kind of like this like crazy relationship. Is he, you wonder if he would take joy in seeing Rebecca fail, and he didn't. He was mad that they lost, which is interesting because you want to hate Rupert, but he doesn't want to see Rebecca lose just for the sake of them losing, which is interesting. Just all around, I know it's the last episode, so we have to talk about the final episode, but I want to talk about the whole season and just how brilliant I think the show is. Because look, we've seen it requested for a long time. I hadn't seen a lot of it on TV, but, I looked at Jason Sudeikis and thought, Saturday Night Live, we're the Millers, and thought it was going to kind of just be not that I don't like him. I think he's a funny guy, and I love him in Saturday Night Live. But I just thought it was going to be kind of slapstick comedy, and not that that's not something I wouldn't have enjoyed. It's just not. I never expected the show to have this sort of emotional depth and to be this just lesson heavy. And wow, we got a lot of them. Lasso's speech, then of course Jamie at the end. I mean, how much does that show for the level of growth that Jamie's had throughout the course of the season? And even the fact that you were able to have Jamie and Roy sit down together across each other at the table and like have a discussion without like throwing punches at each other, both showed that they had both grown in their own ways. But the fact that Jamie came and look, he wanted to win. He, no doubt about it, Jamie wants to win, right? But he passed the ball and got his team to win. And then they showed Jamie's dad just going off on him. The dad couldn't, couldn't care less that the team won. He just was mad that Jamie didn't get the winning goal. And it's like, dude, it's just so shitty.
It goes back to him throwing his plates in the fire.
That was his dad.
Came back in his life, and he just wants him to be the be-all, end-all.
Look, I do, as Answer scrolling through, some of the critics and stuff like that, I look at really the only one we see is that apparently the scenes of the matches and stuff like that aren't necessarily in the locker room scenes, aren't the most realistic. And so for the soccer fans out there, I'll just say soccer, I feel you, because look, there's films that we get here in America, like football films and stuff like that, basketball films,
baseball,
where it's not like the locker room scenes aren't always the most realistic. So it's not just, this doesn't just happen with soccer. Like, look, and I don't know anything about the game of soccer, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. I wouldn't be able to watch it and say that's not realistic, or the locker room scenes or the reporter scenes aren't realistic. But we get it here where they show football locker room scenes, like that's not really how, they dramatize it for TV and for film. So I will, for people who have those critiques, that's fair, and that's understanding. If you feel like the game play through is a little bit unrealistic, again, that's not something that I can comment on. But overall, a phenomenal series. I'm really excited for season 2. The only thing, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, the only thing I'm nervous about is going into season 2 is like the sequel of a movie. Like when you love a first movie and they're coming into the sequel, you're like, is it going to be Terminator 2? Is it going to be,
Bill and Ted 2?
Are we getting?
Here's the thing: like Bill Lawrence is still behind it, so that's all you got.
Are we getting? Yeah. Are we?
Him and Sudeikis are still behind.
Are we getting? Are we getting a second season that people are going to love? But look, I'm so surprised with this show. I'm so thankful we watched it. I loved every minute of it. Look, for as much as I love this speech, look, I think the darts scene is probably my favorite moment of this whole first season. It's got millions and millions of views on YouTube, millions of views. So I know there's a lot of people who love it as much as I did, but I'm really excited for the second season. Look, from a reactor standpoint, this show has been such an easy and enjoyable watch. It's like, it's one of the things that I so look forward to. And look, we watch a lot of really good shows and stuff like that. But this one it's lighthearted, it's easy to watch, and I've absolutely loved every minute of this first season. So,
yeah, I'll kick it off right away with just scoring the season 5. And that's easy. That is just so easy. This show is great. Every speech that he gives, like, I don't know if you'll be able to catch it during the watch along. Like, I'm getting the headset on all the way. I don't want to hear you guys say anything. No offense to you guys, but I don't want to hear anything. I just want to listen to Ted. From his "Be a Goldfish" to even at the end where he's like, "Be sad, but but this is a team. We're sad together. You're not, because there's one thing worse than that. That's being alone and sad." And because he's dealt with that the whole season, right? I mean, he's going through a divorce. He knows that he's potentially leaving, his son behind because they're going to be, having a divorce. So now it's going to separate that. So he has all that going through his head. So he's like, hey, but he's always had Coach Beard. He's always had the team. I mean, in certain spots too, Rebecca was there for him. Even when their dynamic was going what it was, she was still there for him. And then in the end, it was obviously there for him with telling him the truth, him forgiving her because he knows what she's going through. So that was great. And then, like you're saying with Rupert, well, yeah, remember Rebecca even said the only thing he's ever loved in life was the AFC Richmond.
Yep.
And so when they lost, he's upset. Well, he's also 2% owner. He doesn't want to get relegated. He wants it to be a big success. So.
It was interesting that Bex left the room when that happened. You know, that was kind of I was looking for more out of that scene with her just getting up and leaving and him being pissed.
Well,
I thought maybe there'd be
someone that's been mad
there.
at football games before. Yes, the wife just gets up and leaves.
Well,
so
Green Bay Packers sure know how to lose. And
okay, that's enough
level.
of that. But anyways, that notwithstanding, yeah. But it was a great. It's a great show. I cannot wait for better, bigger speeches that I'm sure are on their way to be shown to us, because this show has been nothing short of amazing. Like I said, I already saw the first season. I know Bill Lawrence because I'm a huge Scrubs fan. I know Broken Record on that, so I just knew.
Mention that more, and I mentioned Disney on Ice during Frozen.
Well,
it's all good though.
That's 10 episodes versus one movie. So I was just going to say that, you know, I having watched the first season, I knew you two would love it. I knew you'd love the lessons. I knew you'd love the speeches. I couldn't wait for episode 8 for the barbecue sauce, for the dart scene, because I knew you two would love it.
I'm not exaggerating when I say, honestly, like, look, it's not a Rocky type, like, whoa, motivation speech, or like,
it's just
like in any given Sunday.
Amazing.
But as far as movie and TV film speeches that carry a lot of weight, get you emotional, and hit you in the feels, well, like, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not going to say the best, but I think it's up there with the great just speeches that we've seen in movie and film. And I mean that. I thought it was so good.
So easily a 5 from me for this season.
Yeah, for me, look, I can understand the complaints that some of the folks might have about the realism of the football that's being played out on the pitch. But look, the football's not the point of this show. Ted could be...
That's not the main character.
No, he could be coaching a chess team, or he could be teaching an art class, you know, about painting. And it wouldn't matter, because it's the growth that all of our characters have that matters, not necessarily the soccer games, football games that they're having. Because, like, look, at the end of the day, this isn't like some $300 million budget show that, you know, something that like Amazon will throw a bunch of money at, like Rings of Power, where every episode is like $40 million and the whole thing's $1 billion for a season. It's about the acting and the character development and everything else. The soccer is just kind of there as a vehicle to move that along. So that being said, I understand with like the goofiness, like the American football play never would have worked in a million years, but they do it just to show fun, and maybe a little bias for an American audience to have a little chuckle at it. So all that being said,
is the flying V legal in hockey? No, it's not. It's not. But it's amazing to watch every time you see it.
In the Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
For those who don't know, I haven't seen all of those. I don't think I've seen any of them. But anyhow, nonetheless, I've kept you in suspense long enough. For me, it's a 5. I had...
Like you didn't know.
I had no expectations for this show. I didn't know if I would like it or not. Look, for me, I've tried to get into a couple of Apple TV shows, and they all kind of fell flat for me. So I didn't have a lot of faith in Apple TV, honestly, to produce a good show. So this one was a genuine surprise for me. And if anything, that's why it got the score it did, because I had zero expectations coming in.
Oh, look at that.
Big shocker here, folks. 5.
That wasn't a shocker, though, that part.
Absolutely loved it. I've said all I need to say about this show. Can't wait for season 2.
There you go.
Amazing.
You saw that we loved it. We know you did, because you wanted us to watch this. So, hey, we'll catch you on season 2. So for Appleton Oak, that's Mason Quinn. I'm, of course, the answer. We'll catch you on the next season, pals.